Don't get right to it.
All right, so yesterday I gave you guys some challenges. I gotta confess that I was kind of disappointed with the results. And I want to tell you why I was disappointed, but I'll tell you that it's better to be disappointed in the practice than disappointed in the test, because some of the stuff we did yesterday will show up on our next test.
Is today the 23rd? Yes. Thank you.
All right, so I will probably ask some type of question like prove that angle is not a postulate. Okay? To prove that something doesn't work, all you have to show is one time it doesn't work. Okay? So if you wanted to say Mr. McConnell is always at school, he is never absent. You could prove it by saying, what about yesterday? On this date, he was absent. Okay? So it's easy to prove things false. It's harder to prove things true. Because if you find one case where it doesn't work, then it throws out everything. So for angle, okay, that's implying that all the angles are the same. So you have two triangles where the angles are the same. So I don't know what this is. Does this look like angle? Because you gave me two different, completely different triangles, said angle, and said, look, they're not congruent. Well, of course they're not congruent. You gave me two completely different triangles. The point is that you're going to give me two triangles with three congruent angle sets. Okay? So I was looking for more something like this. Here's a proof that angle doesn't work. You have two triangles that have the same angles, and clearly they're not the same. This one is much larger than this one. That's exactly what I was looking for. This is a proof of not angle. Okay? Angle side, I didn't see anything that was really that great. Yes?
Remind myself, because I'm 96% sure that I did that. Because I have marking version.
Okay. And I also want to point out that in my subplans, and I don't know if it got communicated, that we should not, you can work together, but you should not have the same answers. So here is somebody's for angle, and they did the exact same thing as that other person did. So that's sad face. Okay? If this was on the test, you would get a 0 on this. So with that being said, do we understand now what I was looking for? Maybe I didn't communicate that very clear.
So it's angle side.
Yeah.
So angle side. Unfortunately, I did not see, I mean, this almost works. Okay? If this was the test, I might give partial credit. Okay? But what don't I like about these?
It's small.
They're super small, and if I say construct, they're not even straight lines. Okay? But this is what they're getting. I mean, they essentially did what they're supposed to. So they indicated that they were going to do a 30-degree 6, 11. Okay? So they created two triangles that have 30 degrees and then 11 and 6, and they switched the order of that. That doesn't matter. But they drew, would you agree that these two triangles are not the same? Okay, so this one I'm pretty happy with, except it's clearly not straight lines. It's clearly not perfect. Okay. Yeah, so in the notes we did it where basically what they said is that if we're going to have a 30-degree angle here, okay, and then this is 11, that actually I don't think this works. But basically the way that this is going to work is that you have one where it hits here, and then one where it hit, where this would be, I'm not remembering how, oh, that this would also could be the same if it was like there. Okay, so you can get two triangles out of this. Maybe I didn't draw that well. Okay, but if we look back at that video, it's going to explain it. And maybe we'll, before we take this test, we'll get I'll clarify that. So basically what we're getting out of this is that triangle, this triangle, my color doesn't work. We have two triangles here. We have this triangle, which is 11, 30, and then whatever this length ends up being, okay, is not the same as this triangle that is also 11, 30. Okay, so you can have, if I pull those out, you have a 30-degree angle, 11, and let's just say that this ends up being, I don't know, it looks like 8. Okay, I don't think it's quite half. And then the other one is an 11, 30, 8, and it looks like this. Okay, when it says construct, I'm expecting this to be very precise. So maybe we'll need to spend some time one day before the test explain how we can construct those things. Okay. I mean, I was happy-ish with these, but I would have wanted them to be more constructed. Okay.
At least you did good on the first part of the line.
Say it one more time.
At least you did good on the first part of the line.
Did you? Okay. I got an email saying that they didn't know how to turn it in. Did you figure that out?
We could turn that and we just couldn't turn in the sheet with a grade sheet on.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant the online.
On Monday.
Gotcha. Yes. Okay. Well, good. I'm glad we did. And honestly, I'm only disappointed because I kind of thought we would be able to figure this out, but I'd rather not figure out that we don't know what we're doing before the test than get to the test.
Now that you said this, like it's pretty easy to understand like each corner, but like all the angles do the same. Because like it was more of a part, like you partially understood it, you were guessing what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
The sub gave us almost like little to no, like back on what she was doing. She was like, you get on Google Classroom and there's what you're supposed to do. Beef?
Mr. Rotano.
Oh,
I was gonna say, I thought I was a man. Yeah. So he got exactly the same information you got, except he doesn't know geometry. So yeah. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Maybe we'll have another day where we can practice this and talk about it, and actually how we would construct that stuff. Okay. I guess it's good information. And the other one was the other thing was just to make sure that we are kind of on page with what we need to know and all that. Okay. So let's try to fly through these notes. So we're at geometry notes 4.4. Okay. Basically, we're going to learn more about some more postulates. We're going to end up with 5 total when we're done, okay, of these postulates. So right now, if you want to just jot this down, we have side, side, side. We have side, angle, side. And we have, today we're going to learn angle, side, angle. And we're going to see that we have angle, angle, side. Okay, and we're going to learn one more side, side. Good question. Okay, good. So I heard side, side, angle, which is the same as angle, side, side, which is the same. And then also we have angle, angle, angle. So it's important to know that these are no's. Okay. The only one we don't have is side, angle, angle. Okay. Why don't we have side, angle, angle?
Because angle, angle, side.
Because it's the same thing as angle, angle, side. Okay. Here was one thing that I was a little surprised on yesterday's. Somebody was trying to show me that this is angle side, that angle side side doesn't work. Okay. And what do you notice how they did it?
It looks slightly bigger. Rotated it.
That wasn't my upset.
I don't know what I did.
If I looked at it, I think that this length here was their side.
Yeah.
This was their other side. So what is my upset with that? The angle's in the middle. They proved that they were trying to prove that side angle side doesn't work from when I peeked at this. Okay. But what's true about side angle side?
It works.
It works. So they'll never prove it this way. Yes, Rachel, you want to say something about this person?
I'm just wondering, how do you know which one it is?
Good. So see where the angle is? The angle is between one side and another side.
Okay, well,
So that's side, angle, side. So angle, side, side would have been angle, side, side.
yes, it does. Oh, it does.
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
it does.
Just like the company, this is like the one thing that like started things.
No, it doesn't. This is the one thing.
Well, yes, it
Hashtag nerd
does.
You understand everything else we've learned.
All right. So hopefully so basically when I say side, angle, side, where is the angle, Rachel, in this side, angle, side? And the one I'm pointing at. Where is the angle?
Look at his in the middle.
It's in the middle.
Yeah, but like I thought you were pointing at a triangle. What? What? In the middle.
Okay, so how about this one? What do you notice about the side in this? It, because it's angle, side, angle. This is what we're learning today. And this one here, where is the side? At the end. So if I were talking about angle, angle, side, whatever the triangle is, it'd be angle, angle, and then I'm referring to a side that's outside.
Why do we need that? I don't understand that.
Like what? When are we going to use this in life? On.
You're an architect.
Thank you.
Or
you're a geometry.
We're not going to get into when you need it. Okay. Go ahead.
So like if you were to put SAA on a test, you would deduct points.
I would have to be in a really bad mood to deduct for SAA. If you did one of these, yeah, I would take off probably a bunch of points. Because these ones should work.
100,000 points, Mr. McCall?
Okay, so this first thing just says that angle, side, angle works, and it's a theorem. Okay, so over here they ask two questions. Is triangle JKL, this triangle, congruent to MNO?
Yes.
Okay. And that is angle, side, angle. So we can say yes. And how do we know? Because of, oh, I'm sorry, say, what did you think it was?
Angle, side, angle.
Yes, because of angle, side, angle. And then question B, is triangle JKA or JKL congruent to PQR?
There's not enough information.
Okay, so the answer is no. Okay. Or actually, I think it's I don't know. Because QR,
Isn't that also side angle?
this is the weird thing. So this is what's making this not work. This is angle, angle, side.
Oh, wait, we're doing the last one.
And this one is angle, side, angle. So because this is angle, angle with the side on the outside, it's not going to be congruent to one where the angles in or the sides in between. Okay.
Wait, if it's angle, angle, side, isn't that yes also?
To another angle, angle, side.
Yeah. You can't have like.
They have to be the same type.
So let me.
It has to be the same type. So like Yeah.
So if I drew another one down here, and that's a great question because I thought the same thing. If I drew another one down here and said, well, this side is going to be congruent, this angle is going to be congruent, that's going to be congruent. Then I could say that this triangle is congruent to that triangle.
Yeah, but not.
But I can't say it's congruent to the others.
Oh, unless we figure out the length.
So QR is on the outside, and
And then KJ is on the,
JK is on the, and they say that we can say inside, but the language that the book would use is inclusive. Okay, that this side is included inside the angles, and this is, I think they use exclusive. Okay, so prove that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. We have a statement.
What was our explanation for B?
For B is because QR is outside and KJ is inside of the angles. Does that make sense?
No, not at all.
Because
that looks like obtuse.
it doesn't make sense because I wrote it wrong.
Yeah, and because it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so QR is outside of the angles and JK is inside of the angles. Okay, they gotta match. So one can't be side angle side, or one can't be angle side angle and the other angle side. Okay, statement reason.
Angle B is congruent to
Angle
angle E.
B is congruent to angle E. How do we know?
It's given.
Given.
And angle A.
How do we know? Given.
AC congruent to
AC is congruent to
that A.
DF.
what's hard to see?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
no. It's given.
And then it's given.
Okay.
And then.
Hold on, let's pause 1 second. So a lot of times we like to do these kind of in order. That's an angle, that's an angle, that's a side. So the reason that these are congruent is an angle, angle, side. Oh, yeah, so triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. Mark, you want to say something?
what if you mix up like the statements? What if you say angle like B and then E, and then you put instead of the other angle you put side?
Like you didn't do this in the right order?
Yeah.
So honestly, it doesn't matter here as long as this is correct. But if we're going to use angle, angle, side as a form of just kind of being neat, it's often that we will do these in that order. But if you did the side first, it wouldn't matter.
You just have to do, the angles have to be next to any side. Right?
Right. So if I did this angle and then did the side and then did the angle, I would still have to do angle, angle, side here. The order, actually, the order of the first three statements doesn't matter. It's just kind of neater that way. Yeah. Okay.
Well, would we use CPCTC in that one?
When do we use CPCTC, which stands for corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea.
We use,
When
For
it's
side by
not
side.
given, but we know that they're congruent.
okay, no,
For side by
That
side.
was a good guess.
that was a good guess. This is, so here's when we use that. And this is a good, very important question. If I'm trying to prove two triangles congruent, have I done that? Then I'm done. If I were to say, I'm just kidding, I actually wanted you to prove that BC was congruent to EF,
Oh, then you could say,
then my next line would be that BC is congruent to EF. How do I know that? because the corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent.
See.
So when you want to prove triangles are congruent, you're using these. Okay. When you want to prove that parts of congruent triangles are, you do these, and then you add one more step to say that the parts are congruent. It got bled through, but you can see it on yours. Basically, it just says that angle side is a
4-7.
That's just the theorem.
that's just the theorem. It's chapter 4. It's the 7th theorem. Okay. In the old book, it was called 5-7 because it was the 5th chapter. I would prefer that they just call it theorem angle side. Okay. So over here, they're asking us, what do we need? What additional thing would we need to do angle, side, angle? Okay. So first off, looking at the triangles, we have an angle and a side. So to finish this off to get angle, side, I would need to know that angle B is congruent to angle E. Okay, and that would make angle, side, angle work. Well, what if I didn't want to use angle, side, angle? I wanted to use angle, side. Then I would need to know that angle C was congruent to what? Angle F. You're confused, or are you smart? Okay, good.
Hey, that's me.
So the difference between those two, the difference between these guys, the difference between the two is the side between the angles, or is the side outside of the angles. Okay, that's the difference. So looking at this one, please, Mark. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, looking at this one, before I even start, I realize that they're asking me to find what congruent, what congruent.
The line.
They're asking me to prove that FH is congruent to JL. That means I'm going to end up using
C, P, C, P, C.
Now, I hate the abbreviation, but you're going to get away with it as long as you write them in the right order. If you just put down C, C, P, C, T, C, P, you're not going to get very much credit for that. Yeah.
It's honestly, when I look at it, it just looks like a weird. It looks like a weird computer screen. Like that'd be a weird computer.
CPAT.
That's what Brody calls it. He calls it CPAT.
So if you need a little way of remembering it, you can remember it congruent parts of congruent triangles congruent. The C stands for congruent. Okay? And the P stands for parts of triangles. Congruent parts, congruent triangles, congruent.
Congruent process.
Oh my gosh.
Who's got the first statement?
Okay.
I'm listening.
Angle G and GFH is congruent to angle KJL.
Okay, and that would be wrong.
Why? Because
It would not be wrong,
it would not be wrong.
but I'm super duper lazy.
Angle G.
Just ask my wife. And I could say, instead of saying GFH, I could say angle F is congruent to angle J. Again, that wouldn't be wrong. Also, if it was on a test and I gave you that part, we shouldn't be confused, hopefully. Okay. I would definitely not take off any points, even if I was in the worst mood ever, because it's completely right. But I'm lazy, so I could write it that way. Okay? And what's the reason? Oh,
Yeah.
you had your hand up, didn't you?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing things.
Yeah, can I do that one?
Please.
Angle G is congruent to angle K.
Angle G is congruent to angle K, given. GH, segment GH is congruent to segment, KL,
That's given.
given.
So then,
So it's triangle GFH KJL,
And then that is,
angle side,
and then after H
then segment FH,
is congruent to JL.
because
CPCTC.
Cats, puppies, cats, turtles, cats.
or congruent parts, congruent triangles, congruent.
That's what I don't think congruent with parts and triangles.
Yes.
Ruined parts, ruined triangles. Triangles are congruent.
I didn't need
I have to say that.
Can you wait till we finish this next one?
I didn't know any of you until last year. I don't even know why. I know how to.
I didn't.
All right, so then all of a sudden, I don't know why they snuck this in here, but they did. It's important to notice some notation, okay? So first off, what's different about this question than pretty much every question we've had in this chapter? Andrew?
One of them, it gives you all of the sidelines, and in on the next, it only gives you one, but with a variable.
Okay. It's not a triangle. That's the thing that bugged me when I saw this. It's not a triangle. Now, I want to point out that when you do triangle ABC, okay, they actually put that triangle in there, okay, to say triangle ABC. What do you notice that they did here?
They didn't say triangle because it's not a triangle.
Okay. No, we're not there yet. So what I want to point out in terms of notation is that they just throw a bunch of letters down. They're basically saying whatever shape is created by all those letters being connected is the shape. So they're not going to write down, polygon ABCD. Okay, only in quadrilateral polygon. They're only going to put down the letters. Okay, now hopefully we can look at this and quickly go, oh, 2x minus 3 equals 9. Hopefully we can look at this and there's no, I don't know what's going on. Now I want to point out something to you. The order of the letters is super important. So if we're trying to figure out EH, and let's just say it wasn't clear. Let's just say the shape was all kind of weird and it was hard to figure out how it was rotated or flipped or reflected. EH, okay, is here and here in the order of the letters. Okay, so it is congruent to the same order of the letters over here. AD. Okay, so the order of those letters are important. So if for some reason the copier made a mistake and only showed part of this, and crossed out it, you wouldn't have to know anything else except AD, because that order. Okay?
Okay, does M stand for meters or flat variable?
Where is M? I think, yes, it stands for meters.
I was like, wow, there's
It,
9 miles long.
Okay, so it's 2x equals 12. X equals 6.
I go now.
I just wrote the best three of my
So, okay.
Okay. All right, so